Hello, everyone, and welcome back to the Plocast. I'm Evan, he's Paul, and today we are bringing you our breakdown slash review for the first two episodes of Obi-Wan Kenobi. Now, if you're familiar with the channel, you'll know that normally we do one episode reaction and then a breakdown for that episode. But due to the way that these episodes were released, both episodes came out on Friday, and episode 3 is coming out this Wednesday. There's just not enough time to make two separate videos. And I feel like all the things that we want to talk about between the two are similar enough and they carry over to where having a separate video kind of isn't even necessary, because we can just talk about everything that happened in the two, and we'll try to make it condensed down, I guess, because by the time this goes up, there'll only be like 1 or 2 days until the actual next episode. So we got to get this up ASAP, and there's just not enough time to make two episodes. For those unfamiliar, basically, we just kind of talk about things we didn't like, things we did like, sort of pros and cons, if you will.
Shout out Wayne G.
Yeah, and then like kind of a review. I don't know how qualified we are to really review things, but we do anyway because it's fun. Sometimes we like to rank the episodes, bring up cool details that we noticed that we pointed out. Not necessarily like a breakdown video, like one of the ones where it's every single 25 things you missed in this episode.
Yeah.
We don't go that far, but just kind of like a conversation about the episodes. So yeah, let's begin here. I think I have more positives than negatives overall. Definitely, but I think my negatives, I have more to talk about than the positives. Because like the positives are kind of like X thing is good, whereas the negatives I kind of have like, some explaining to do.
Gotcha.
Do you wanna start us off though with I guess some questions or whatever you had that was sort of not considered a pro, I guess.
So kind of cons, starting with
Yeah,
the.
yeah, get them out of the way
Okay.
because there's a
Okay.
net positive I think overall for the two episodes.
Got you. My first thing, not very big, because I'll say the big thing. I have one big thing, and you already know what it is. But the first thing, my kind of question was, how does Tatooine feel about the Jedi? Because we see the I don't know his name. I don't know if it was said, but the Jedi who was brutally murdered and hanged. He was helping out at least the bartender, and no one outright snitched on him. But then we see he's hung in the streets and stuff, and it
Right.
seemed like no one wanted a part of him. And then Owen Lars was like, Jedi or pest. I kill pests on my farm, which is a cold line. He's a baller for saying that.
He is.
And it seemed like some of the townsfolk were kind of like shared that opinion. And then Obi-Wan flexes his lightsaber at the end of episode 1 to one of the people on the ship. He's like, listen, I'm a Jedi. It's cool. Let me get on. Like, then, so like,
I don't know. I think
is
that was
Tatooine
just
cool
like
with
a
it?
camera
Is that
thing
like,
for the audience to see that like
that
he's
I was
got it
just
on his
us
belt
to
to
see
like
it?
he's going out to do stuff.
Okay.
I don't know, because if I was in that situation, I feel like if there was like if the way out of getting in trouble with the Empire and these Inquisitors who just chopped an old lady's hand off, I would agree with whatever they're talking about. If
Hmm.
they hate Jedi, I'd be like, yeah, Jedi. Who needs those losers? I
Yeah.
would be all over that. Um, Owen has like it's personal for him because
Yeah.
of
Oh, and I
Obi-Wan
get.
and
Yep.
Anakin and all that. So I get that from him. The bartender, I think, was helping out like they had a mutual thing going on. And even if there are Jedi supporters, I feel like they're too scared or they don't have enough power to intervene. You know what I mean? Like they don't
Yeah.
like what can they do to help? The entire galaxy is like against them now. They're being
I,
hunted and killed. Like even if there are Jedi supporters, what are they supposed to do? Like what can they do about it? Really?
I was gonna say that like there's so much propaganda going on during these times about like literally what Owen Lars was saying, like
Yeah.
Jedi are pests. They turn their backs on the Republic, force this empire or forcing this military reign because of how evil they are. So a lot of people hate the Jedi because that's just what they've been brainwashed to do. But there are sympathizers like Alderaan, who leads the rebellion. Like a lot of people still do believe like
Yeah.
um in what they stood for, and that's why you see even non-Jedi say, "May the Force be with you." We see that in Rogue One, and a lot of people were like, "Why would she say that?" No, no, no. That's a part of the
That's just
rebellion.
yeah.
That
It's like a
that's the Jedi are symbol for peace and all
right.
that stuff. So some towns do sympathize with Jedi, some don't. I felt mixed vibe there.
Yeah,
Maybe that's how it is. Maybe it is a mixed vibe. I don't know, but kind of weird. The lightsaber thing was my biggest question about it, but like you said, it could just be a camera thing
I
for
think
the
that was just for
audience,
the viewer.
which is yeah, maybe that's just me nitpicking. No big deal. Not really, not really con there. Just something to talk about. Another thing that kind of more I'm kind of curious about, because it's a little bigger story wise. Flashing forward to episode 2, very end actually, the Vader reveal, where the third sister, yeah, Reva, was like, Anakin, Darth Vader, he's still alive, Obi-Wan. Like she's playing with him. How on earth does she know? This is like one of the biggest kept secrets of the Empire. Palpatine doesn't want that getting out. So much so that both Tarkin and Thrawn, some of the most intelligent Imperial officers, that was like a big moment when they kind of almost get there. I know
Yeah, like put
Tarkin
it
doesn't
together.
even get there. Tarkin says, I couldn't know for sure, but I'm like 99%,
Yeah,
but I can't know for sure that it's Anakin.
right.
So I'm like, how would she know? And then my one thing is because she did say she had the archives, but I know those were deleted from the archives. Palpatine did that, destroyed it. Even Obi-Wan took some of them out, um, so people couldn't see. Because even for the Jedi, like that's something they want to cover up.
Mm.
But then remember episode 1, she was in Order 66. So potentially did she
Potentially, I
interact
don't think
with
that was
Anakin there?
confirmed, but
Well,
that's our theory. That's our running
if we
theory.
accept that, yeah,
Yeah,
would she? Maybe she saw Anakin there slaughtering younglings as a youngling. What the hell? Like that would have made me shaking my boots. So like, how does she know this huge secret that Anakin is Vader, um, and that Anakin is still alive as Vader before Obi-Wan, before I guess Thrawn and
yeah,
Tarkin at this point? Like, I feel like this is a big
yeah.
deal that she's just letting out here. Am I? Is
No,
that
no, yeah,
nitpicking or
you're right.
okay?
I mean, and like here's the thing with that: if there is no payoff to that, if there is no connection between her and Anakin, then
Yeah,
this was totally unnecessary because Obi-Wan already knows that Anakin is Vader. He knows that
yeah.
that's what he was called right up at like the end of everything, like when they watch the footage and they see him being like
He saw
knighted.
kneeling,
Yeah,
henceforth
yeah,
known as
unless like I don't,
Darth.
but like it even seemed like
Sorry.
when she said Vader, he was like, what?
Hmm.
Like he already like he didn't know Anakin was alive, but I feel, did they even need to say Anakin? Couldn't she have just said Vader and he would have gotten it?
It,
Unless
it,
he
it,
doesn't know
mhm.
that Vader is Anakin.
It seemed weird. Um, and I'm gonna go right into my next thing because it kind of piggybacks on it. Um, it has to do with Reva. I'm not the biggest supporter of the third sister. I kind of get what they're going for. This kind of obsessed, like evil, like I want Obi-Wan at all costs kind of character.
Right.
But I'm getting like for those Marvel fans out there from I think it was Endgame. Yeah, Endgame, where Scarlet Witch goes to Thanos. You took everything from me, and he goes, I
I
don't
don't
even
even
know
know
who
who
you
you
are.
are.
That's Reva to Obi-Wan for me. Like she's like, Obi-Wan, I want, like, oh, like I hate you, I want you, like you're the big fish I have to catch. And Obi-Wan's like, I don't even know who you, like, who are you? Like, and
Yeah.
me as a supporter, this is new character, which I'm not against, but like, I don't even know who she is. Why is she such a menace to him? Like, someone who really hates Obi-Wan and that would have a passion for him like this is Darth Maul. And we see that storyline. We see how much Maul hates Kenobi. Like, the iconic Sam Witwer, Kenobi.
Kenobi.
Great. Like that's awesome because there's a lot behind that. There's so much
Right.
story behind that, even beyond episode 1, even beyond Clone Wars. There's comics of that stuff. And that feels earned. And I can get why he would hate Obi-Wan and want to pursue him at all costs. But Reva, I'm not getting that. It
Right.
feels kind of unearned to me, and kind of like I don't like I don't get it. Like who is this girl?
I don't know.
Maybe we'll find out, but I can't imagine it be as deep as it is with Darth Maul, definitely not. But even like she's acting like, you know what I mean? It's kind of like that scene from Endgame where you say, "I don't even know who you are, girl."
Right.
Like,
Yeah.
and then that's another thing that I want to reconcile because I said, well, how does she know Leia and Bail Organa? Like, how does she know that connection between Obi-Wan? Like, Obi-Wan has tons of friends in the Republic, or not the Republic anymore, but tons of senator friends, all that stuff. He fought a war with all these people. Like, he knows tons of people. Why would she go there? She does say she extensively researched the archives,
Hmm.
which makes sense for the character they're building. She is obsessed with Obi-Wan. I'm not denying that. So she like it makes sense that she would dig through the hours of
Right.
archives to find that one connection and be like, Organa, he has a daughter, let me kidnap her. He's super important. He needs her
They
back.
were
He'll go to the
close in
one
the Clone
man
War.
who's
Boom.
yep. I feel like she could figure that out. But then like my issue now is not that anymore. It's like, well, why is she so into it?
Hmm.
Like who is this girl? Hopefully we'll find out more. It's still early. I don't want to cancel the whole season like, oh, I don't get it, so I don't want to watch anymore.
Right.
Like of course those fans always do. But
As Star Wars
and then
fans do.
finally, which again piggybacks off this, and I know this is going to be one of your cons, is again Reva, who they're making out to be this big character who hates Obi-Wan, is the antithesis to him. She's also the most powerful Inquisitor who's able to kill the Grand Inquisitor.
Mm.
Is he dead? That's another thing. I want to stay on Reva for a second because again, I don't think she has any right to be killing the Grand Inquisitor, who is already an established character. Like they're forcing so much on Reva, which is weakening her character for me. Like she's new. She doesn't have to do everything all at once. You guys can chill. You can let the Grand Inquisitor inquisitate for a little. But
Inquisiting
no,
people.
they're yeah, but no, they already have her again stepping up and being like, nope, this is my show or my guy to catch. I'm gonna kill you. Which is weird. I'm not the biggest fan of Reva. That's my, I guess, third issue. I,
Yeah.
I want to get your thoughts on the Reva stuff first before we move to the Inquisitor, because I know we're going to talk about that a little bit more.
Okay.
But am I off base at all with the Reva
No,
stuff? I don't
no.
know. Yeah.
I just I'm not feeling it with Reva and more broadly the Inquisitors in general. But we'll get to the Grand Inquisitor in a second.
Yeah.
But the whole and like remember this is based on just the first two episodes, so all of this could change. I want to put that out there because we have no clue because the show is not over yet. There's more episodes, so this could all change. I don't know that it will, but what we're saying is based on just the two episodes that we've gotten.
Purely.
I don't feel it with Reva. The conflict seems really forced. It feels unnecessary. She's claiming that she's doing it basically for clout, but then when she's talking to Obi-Wan, she acts like it's super, super personal.
Yeah.
And I feel like if they were leaning into a personal thing with her, they would have teased it already. You should set that up beforehand and have like flashbacks or some sort of tease instead of just one big drop that, oh yeah, I knew Obi-Wan and he said I sucked or whatever. It feels so personal to her. And I don't see why. I don't feel that it's very deserved. Her hatred towards him or her desire to capture him, she wants status, I guess, but she's going at it as if like he did something personally to her, because this is the exact, like, this scenario you'd think would be the exact it's nothing personal scenario, you know what I mean? Like there's no connection between the two, and I
That
don't
we know of yet. Yeah.
exactly. So it just doesn't resonate with me. How and the next my other problems with Reva kind of lean into the Grand Inquisitor a little bit. It's just how is this rift gotten this big? How is it that every time she does something wrong, she gets like a little she gets like timeout, or like she gets a little pep talk. She's like, hey, you better not do that anymore. And it's always the fifth brother too. It's the fifth brother who's like, hey, don't do that.
Yep.
No, this is the Empire. This is the Inquisitor.
Yeah.
That's not. You're like
You're
getting
dead.
tortured or something.
Yeah,
Like it's. I don't. How has it gotten to
that's a
this
good
point?
point.
How has it gotten so far to where she's ready to kill him? Because clearly that's like the. It starts slow, and she's like, she wants to get this guy, and like, aren't we gonna get him? And then he's like, no. And slowly that builds, and then we join the show towards the end of that arc already, which is kind of confusing that they jump to the end of her arc at the beginning of the show. And it's this whole conflict between them is already at the point where she's ready to kill him.
Yeah.
I don't understand how that got to that size, that this problem. And more of that issue is related to the Grand Inquisitor, which I'll talk about in a second. But like, how has she not been dealt with if she's so problematic? How is she not like? I don't know. Like,
That's
I
a
don't
good
get why
point.
she's still there.
You would think Vader would step in and just literally just
Right.
murder her, 'cause that's
And
that's how things work in the Empire usually. So
yeah, and then why you want to capture Obi-Wan? The Grand Inquisitor was literally in the middle of moving a box out of the way, and when he did that, Obi-Wan would have been revealed, and you both of you probably could have taken him, maybe if he doesn't escape on that ship.
yeah,
Why attack the Grand Inquisitor when you have the best possible chance of capturing Obi-Wan right now?
yeah,
Why not capture him together and then like keep it hidden and then like try like a sneak attack on the Grand Inquisitor? So I'm not saying that would work, but doesn't that make more sense?
it makes more
Because
sense.
yeah,
Yeah,
even if you fail at that, at least you get Obi-Wan. You guys have Obi-Wan captured if it's personal to you for some reason that we don't know of. So and then he escapes. So he was right that she's not good at this. Like so you just like you proved his point by stabbing
yeah.
him. Why not? Like you both could have captured him, and then you could have done something with him if you wanted to. And then
And
like
yeah,
now she has to explain why not only they didn't get Obi-Wan, but also why the Grand Inquisitor has a gaping hole in his chest. And she still expects to be like when I forget the exact line, but doesn't she say like we will find you when he's flying away? She's
yeah.
like, we'll find you. What do you mean we? You just
You just
you
killed him.
betrayed.
Yeah.
Like there is no we. You betrayed the Inquisitors. And like I mean I
Um,
guess maybe she could say that, oh, I didn't do it, but I don't know. Um
I I
yeah,
will say too. Like it would make sense if she, like, oh, she's blinded by her personal rage for him, she's not thinking right, she's like, oh, it's my kill, step off, Grand Inquisitor. But again, it's not earned. And I brought up Maul earlier because I feel like if Maul, you just plopped him in, a lot of this stuff I would be like, all right, yeah, like this is making sense, like he wants to do, like, he's betraying orders just because he wants Kenobi, he doesn't want to follow orders, he wants Kenobi. But her motivation, we believe, is like you said, clout, like a promotion or something.
yeah, just like
So
status with Vader.
she wants more stat. So she would want to follow the rules. If she's breaking rules, she's not going to get a promotion.
Yeah,
And
he was there to help her
suppose
capture Obi-Wan. Like,
and suppose he isn't dead, which we're going to get into.
but you can't
He
be.
wakes up. He's her boss. He's not. He's gonna like just forget you stabbed him. Like,
Right.
what is like? It's not making a lot of sense for the character. They're like, it feels like she's two characters at once, and they're both not good.
Yeah, it feels
Which
rushed,
stinks.
and it feels like they started the
Ho-
story like 2/3 of the way through her arc.
yeah, hopefully they choose one and just flesh it out more. Like, not even a bit more, more. Like, I need more about her to even be satisfied, or just have Vader kill her next episode or something. I don't know. But
Yeah, well, even if they do
yeah,
that, I feel like that would be kind of like a situation from Book of Boba Fett with the Hutt twins, where like a villain
where
shows up,
you spend
you
two
think they're going to be the
episodes.
villain, they're not developed that much, and then they just screw off and they leave. In this case, they die. Like like that wasn't very good, so I feel like this wouldn't be. Although a scene of Vader like killing her would be a cool scene itself,
I still hope that
it would be a badass
happens.
scene. It wouldn't be very good in terms of the whole story of the show. I feel like these, I don't know. But yeah, that's Reva. Do you have anything else on Reva? Because I kind of want to.
Let's hop to the Grand Inquisitor.
All right,
I want
the
you to.
Grand Inquisitor.
Yeah.
On rewatch, He's just, I don't know. He's not doing it for me. He's not doing it for me, and I'm sorry to say that because I really wanted to like him. I tried to like him. I liked him more the first time around when we watched it. Um, and of course, I mean, a portion of that is the look. It's just wrong. It's just so very wrong.
Yeah.
If you watched our video on the Jedi Survivor trailer, which actually might not come out until after this, so I don't know. But if you don't know, in that trailer, there is an Utapau person. It's like a Pauan Imperial senator, I think, who looks exactly right. In Revenge of the Sith, we saw multiple Pauans on Utapau, and that's what the Grand Inquisitor is. That's his species, and for some reason, he looks nothing like that at all.
Yeah.
He's got this big bulbous head. The lines are not the teeth and the lines and the face is just weird, and I don't like it. I'm sorry, I just don't like it. And part of that, I might be part of the reason why I'm not vibing with the guy himself. But I think there's more to it than that because like the way he acts is just a little different. Um, some of the lines were good. Some of the lines were good. Like a little bit of that, a part of that speech at the beginning, I thought was kind of cool. A couple
I was
lines
gonna
he
say
said,
that.
yeah,
Yep.
like and when he's like putting Reva down and he's calling her like the worst of us, I feel like that stuff was good. That was kind of in character. But a lot of the time he acts off. He acts out of character. He talks too much. He's too like attitudey and whiny. You know what I mean? Like he's too like, why'd you do that? I can't believe you would do that, Reva. Blah blah blah. Like he's too over expressive. Because like in Rebels, the Grand Inquisitor was mostly subdued a lot, and he would have this cocky kind of like I'm always
Hmm.
ahead of you thing. And if he was mad about something, he wouldn't really show it that much. He would just kind of brush it off, and he'd be mostly subdued and calm.
Yeah,
And then
he
he'd
would
be
be
like,
calculating his
right,
response. He
right, and
wouldn't be. Yeah.
yeah, and he'd be like cocky, like when he's fighting Kanan, and sees one there where he's like smiling, he's smirking, he's like, and he's, even in the vision when they go to the Jedi Temple, he's like belittling them as he's besting them with a smile on his
Yep.
face. This dude is like a punk in comparison. He just isn't. He doesn't hit the same. He's not. He doesn't have that. I don't know. He doesn't have that pull where like when the Grand Inquisitor is on screen in season 1 of Rebels, like he's the thing he like is stealing the show.
Yeah. Yep.
In this, he like he feels like he's like a little just like a little punk. Like I'm not threatened or intimidated by him in this at all.
And keep in mind, he was a Jedi Temple guard before an
Right,
Inquisitor, so he had years of combat training
right.
to literally protect the Jedi Temple. And then he had dark side training on top of that. He's supposed to be a presence, like a menace. Like just him walking into the room, people are supposed to notice him and be like intimidated. And part of
Hmm.
that is his species, who are like the teeth, the mangled teeth. Like that's intimidating. Utapowians, I don't know how to say it. They're like scary. I remember watching episode 3, even though they're kind of the good guys, or not even the good guys. They're like
They're
Obi-Wan
just like
tries to help
civilians,
them.
kind of.
They're just like, whoa, like what's that species? Like look out, like
Right.
like the Deveronians. They have that intimidating like vibe to them, and then they choose to make the Grand Inquisitor not look like his own species and also have a big fat head.
Yeah, and also
Uh,
completely act different from the actual character.
yeah, so it's.
Um,
I do want to say though, besides his dumb head, I do like how the Inquisitors look.
yeah, the costume is
Um,
cool.
him from the neck down looks dope. I'm loving the cape and everything like that. Reva, I think, looks awesome. The fifth sister and fifth brother, and there's another sister that I don't know, but she
Yeah,
comes
some
in
random one.
episode 2. I think they look excellent. I really like fifth brother.
Yeah,
He looks cool. He sounds cool. He's the actor from I forget where. He's a known actor, but you can't tell under all the makeup. I think they look dope. I like the lightsabers. I like how he was spinning the lightsaber
yeah,
for the Red Hot Chili Peppers guy.
yeah. He killed Flea.
um,
R.I.P.
so I do want to add that in there. They do look cool. Like they
Yeah,
can be cool, but they're utilizing them wrong
yeah,
for the two major ones of them, which is
yeah.
like, come on, like you know.
And the fifth brother is also a returning character because he was in
He
Rebels
was
too. So
Rebels. Yep.
that's pretty cool. But yeah, I don't. The Granite, he doesn't seem as intelligent. He doesn't seem as
Yep.
powerful or in charge. or in control of his emotions. He's always like
Hmm.
complaining and being angry, and it just feels out of like I'm not intimidated by this version of the character at all. The Rebels version would kick this dude's ass. Like that's straight up just a fact. He would kick
Yeah,
his ass. Like I'm
yeah,
sorry, I'm just not. I feel like
my, yeah.
I feel
My
like they would have been better off like I don't know, like ditching Reva and dumping all of the villain stuff into the Grand
I was
Inquisitor.
just gonna say that my biggest thing is that they're pretty much sidelining him for her. Like she literally just killed him. Probably, maybe not. Who knows? Because that's continuity errors. But like she's just gonna step up and just kill him. But why? Like, why invent this new character to just sideline old, fleshed out ones? And while not fleshing out, like it seems like they're forcing way too much on Reva and making her the star when they don't need to.
I think they should have
And they
picked
could have
one.
done it better.
Like do Reva or Grand Inquisitor. Like pick one of those
Yeah.
two and do that. Because now like the he can't be dead unless they're retconning Rebels, which I have zero idea why they would do that. That would
Hmm.
like they would get so much hate for that. Plus Disney made Rebels. It's not even like Clone Wars where it wasn't made by Disney.
Yeah.
So
This is
like
their canon.
exactly, that's the
This
first
is
thing that
their
they did. It's
character.
literally the first thing they did. Um, but so he has to be alive in some capacity. But now this means you have to do some sort of either like he didn't die or we brought him back to life with cybernetics, like
Yeah,
whatever.
how do you walk that off, dude? I said it in the reaction. That's how Qui-Gon died.
Yeah,
Like almost bar for bar. Like I don't like these false deaths. If it is one, like I almost hope he dies and they just stick to the continuity error and the retcon. Because like a week, like they did that so much in Episode 9. Everyone hated it for that. Like Palpatine's alive. Oh, now you can force heal and stuff. Like no,
Chewbacca's
dude.
dead. No, he's not. C-3PO's dead. No, he's
That
not.
too, yeah. Like, no, make a death a death. Like, deaths have meaning. They should last. If he's not gonna die, don't pretend to kill him.
Right.
Like,
And
I don't
now
get it.
his whole death in Rebels is less like valued. It's less effective
Yeah,
because it's like, well, he's already
it's
died before, and they brought him back with some stupid like I don't even know. Even if the resurrection is like a cool moment and it has a cool scene attached to the episode, like if he's got this cool like these like claws and they're like putting pieces in him and he's like, Buh, he comes back or whatever. Even if that itself is cool, overall for his character it makes it weaker because now you have his real
yeah,
death who it's just like not it doesn't hit as hard anymore because it's like oh well he went
yeah,
through the same like and that was a voluntary like self sacrifice thing because you know that's like kind of was
hmm
his only way out because he failed Vader so he was like well this is it so now you have this death where it's like well like I mean I don't well, he failed this time I mean like it's I just don't understand why they would do that
yeah,
and another reason I feel like the Rebels version would totally boss this loser is because he should have easily like deflected that or blocked that. Like he was using the Force with one hand, moving a box. He should have been like, boom, and blocked that. Like come, like
yeah. They're
really?
again, they're making Reva like she can just kill the grand guy. Who she's cool enough.
She
She Obi
wasn't.
wants her kill. Like
She wasn't
so.
even like stealthy about it. She was like ah boom. She didn't
Yeah,
even like go like. It was not subtle at all. She was not.
mhm.
She was like yelled and she reeled it back and she boom. So I feel like someone like a normal person definitely wouldn't be able to react, especially if they're concentrating on something else. But the Grand Inquisitor, first of all, normal Inquisitor should probably be able to block that. But the Grand
The
Inquisitor, he
Grand
should be able
Inquisitor.
to like do or do something or like move out of the way and like parry it or something. I
Yeah.
I just don't like he looks like a total punk and I almost would rather they just didn't have him and just had her be the like Reva be the leader of the group and she has like underlings that she can kill, I guess. Just I don't know.
I don't. I don't know.
So that's the weakest part of the entire show for me so far is the Inquisitors. Um,
Mm.
they're just underwhelming and they're confusing. Um, and like sure you could say we're only 2 episodes in, but that's a third of the entire show. There's only 6 episodes.
I
That's
hate when you say
a
that,
third of
dude.
the show. I'm just, like it's true though.
I know you're exactly
After
right.
Wednesday, we'll be halfway done
We'll
with the show.
halfway. Oh, don't say that.
I know, I don't want to, but that it's
Sorry.
for my
Yeah.
point. Like
No, you're exactly right, dude.
And like
It's
especially with
yeah.
Reva and her arc, the personal side of it, we have had zero build up to it in the previous two episodes, which is a third of the show again. So it's like if they want to do it, sure, but you missed out. Like it's gonna, what are they gonna plop it all in one flashback episode? Like okay, sure, but then that makes the first time viewing kind of stink, and it makes it only work on repeat viewings because it's like, oh well, now I know the context. Um, like Clone Wars with the prequels. If you watch Clone Wars and then watch if you watch the prequels and then you watch the Clone Wars and then you go back and watch the prequels, that viewing is probably going to be better because of your extended knowledge from Clone Wars. That doesn't necessarily make that the movies themselves like objectively better just because something else exists. It makes your experience better, but it doesn't like take those and
Mm,
elevate them higher like as its own thing. So even if they come out with an episode that goes back and shows like, oh, this is all the why she feels this way, I feel like it
yeah,
would have been better to have teases of that at least beforehand, because up to this point, all we like, if we go by what she's saying as the truth, which I don't believe it is it's purely for status. So like even if they have like, why not set up some, like have like a couple flashbacks where it's really obscure and you don't know what's going on, but there's a hint that something is amiss, like something is wrong.
yeah,
I just don't
yeah.
understand why they haven't done it yet.
Remember when Din Djarin hated droids, and then they flash back to that to give backstory to that little fact.
Yeah.
Remember when they would flesh out characters like that?
Wow, seems like so long
you would think
ago.
you would think yeah, you would think someone's primary motivation and the hatred they have towards their main antithesis, like they would flesh that out like they did for the little thing that they like.
One would think.
One
One
would
would
think.
think.
But
Um,
that's all I have for negatives though. If you have any
that's
others
fair.
or cons.
I mean, I don't think
Yeah.
I don't think I have anything else. Basically, the Inquisitors, I'm not a fan. Reva's confusing. Um, and that's kind of it, pretty much.
I have a whole bunch of positives though, or
Yeah. So moving
positives.
on to the positives. First of
Oh.
all, everything with Obi-Wan was fantastic. Everything with his character was amazing. I've seen some people complain about the pacing of the first episode, and I was kind of slow. I think I
It's just
disagree
because there
with
wasn't
that.
action in it.
Um,
Yeah. No.
I think the first episode was my favorite of the two, even with the Vader reveal, because that's like a big whoa,
That's a big thing.
it's
Yeah.
like a big yeah, but like once the moment's gone, like that's coming. I like it. I think the quality of the entire episode as a whole. I think the first one is better. Because we see Obi-Wan going through the motions. We see the emotional toll that everything has
Uh,
had on him. We see him watching over Luke. We see like, I don't know, his day-to-day life, what he's up to, how he's handling it, the nightmares he's having. He keeps calling out for Master Qui-Gon and he gets no answer. It's depressing. It's and it's what I
yep.
wanted to see. Um, I
Yep.
like it's kind of messed up to say that, but like that's what we wanted to see. That's what we wanted to see from an Obi-Wan sort of character study piece thing. Which is why I think I like the first episode a little bit more than the second one, even with the Vader reveal. Um, but everything with Obi-Wan is great. Ewan McGregor is amazing as always. He slipped right back into the role.
Mm-hmm.
It was like I don't know. It's like riding a bike again after not for a while. Just right back to it. I thought he was awesome. We got to see classic stuff. Like we got to see the recap. I thought that recap was a really good move on their part. There's probably people watching
Fire.
this who haven't seen the prequels in a while, maybe because a lot of these shows are bringing in casual audiences, especially The Mandalorian.
Yeah.
And Obi-Wan is a pretty popular character even for non like diehard fans. So I think that was a good idea to slip in that recap for people who maybe haven't seen those movies in a while to understand his place right now and everything he's gone through. And then for like diehards, it was just fun to watch anyway.
Yeah.
It felt like a YouTube video, you know what I mean? And that's not a negative thing. I hate when people use YouTube as like a negative thing. But anyway, it felt like a YouTube
Yep.
one of those
One of those
compilation
compilations.
music like those are awesome. I love those. Check out Darth Porg. That creator makes great ones. Those are
Yeah, I
awesome.
know him. Yep.
It felt like that kind of. I thought that was really cool. But yeah, everything with Obi-Wan was amazing. I thought they did really good with that. And I hope we see more of that. If you want to.
Yeah. Yeah, no, that was Obi-Wan's, of course. I mean, it's Obi-Wan the show, but that's one of my top three biggest positives. I'm gonna keep saying positives. But yeah, just just to even step back and reflect like how lucky we are to have an actor come back after so many years
Oh,
and reprise the
so
role
good.
and do just a
Two
phenomenal job.
actors.
Yeah, yeah, though there's more, and I'll speak to that when we get there. But just you and alone, it's so awesome. He does so well. Like you said, the first episode I enjoyed a little bit more. I liked some of the Leia stuff more in episode 2 than 1, just because it continued. But no, Obi-Wan's like misery, like you're saying, his dread, his
uh,
horrible life. He has nightmares all the time, to the point where he screams out for his master in the night. He goes to a terrible job where they underpay him and cut coworkers or undercut coworkers, and he can't do anything
you
about
can't
it.
intervene.
His restraint is insane. I
Yeah.
love it. I love it. They're doing it. This is exactly the type of things I would want to see in this show. When they first announced it, I'm like, no, I want to see Obi-Wan at his worst. Like this is one of the lowest points in his entire life. Probably, honestly, probably the lowest
I think
point
the
in Obi-Wan's
lowest. Yeah.
life. He failed. He lost. Like plain and simple, he lost, and there's nothing he can do. It's not even like he can just continue being a good guy. He has to hide it all.
Yeah.
All of that compassion, everything he's been taught his entire life, the things he was fighting a war for, he has to suppress
Gone.
inside him, and it's eating him away. You know, he built up this exterior to like, no, I can't help. With the Jedi, he was like, no, listen, I can't go bury your lightsaber in the
Move
sand.
on.
Forget
It's
about it.
over.
Nothing. It's over. That's it. Just to say that, like, imagine Obi-Wan from episode 3 saying that to someone. No way. No
No.
way. Like it took so much to build up that. And then Bail Organa as well. He's like, no, I can't. I'm not the
One
same
of his
man.
close friends.
Yeah, and his almost brother's daughter, like Leia, is in danger. No, I can't. I'm not the same man. Like that's
Yeah.
a lie. That's a lie. Deep down, he is
But he
Obi-Wan,
can't. He
and
just
that's what
can't
this
be
story
that
is.
person.
Yes, yes. And to just that little bit where he's getting it, where he decides like, yeah, I'll help her out, and he does it, and then he sees a little bit of Padme in Leia, and he's like,
Yeah.
oh, I see you. Like it's starting to break him down, and
Yeah.
I want that to continue because this is what it's about. It's about him discovering like maybe there is a new hope. Maybe there's a chance. Maybe these
He
kids
said the thing.
are maybe these kids are
Wow.
what's about. So to
Wow.
see his day-to-day, yes, I'm gonna say, but to see his day-to-day misery and stuff like that in episode 1, excellent.
Absolutely.
Love that. My biggest positive out of all of it was maybe not the biggest because Leia's awesome. I'll get into that in a bit. But yeah, absolutely awesome. I can't wait for what they do and how they continue it. They're on the right path. That's all I'm going to say because this has a good crescendo we can bring it to, and I think that's what they're going to do. But yeah, you hit a lot. I won't harp on it anymore. Obi-Wan's awesome.
Yeah. I had a couple more things. It was you could tell even when he did, like you were talking about, when he did finally give in and like he actually had to use the Force to save Leia or she would have died. You could tell it was a struggle for him. He put his hand out and it took a good 10-15 seconds for him to actually pick her up, and he didn't even really he didn't even fully stop her. She was still like just slowed
her down.
It looked like it took so much out of him to do that, like physically. So that shows how repressed all of this has been. And I mentioned it in the episode 1 reaction when he was at work at the beginning there. It gave me huge vibes from the slavery arc in the Clone Wars, where he was in the slave mines, and like it's such a good parallel because in that arc, he would try to help everyone. He was trying to help all the people down there who were being overworked and who were being starved. But they didn't want it because every time he helped them, they would get punished for being helped by a Jedi. So every time he intervened and tried to, help him be a Jedi, the people he was helping would get hurt because like was it Trandoshans? No, it wasn't Trandoshans. I forget
Not Trandoshans. I forget the species. I can picture
that
them.
one princess queen lady.
Yeah,
Zygerians.
that's
The
right.
Zygerians were like, they
Oh, I don't
would,
know where you
yeah, yeah,
good stuff.
dude, I have no
That
idea. There's
massive
like
brain of
so much
yours.
random Star Wars crap in my brain.
Awesome.
But yeah, when they would like start like hitting the slaves for being helped by Obi-Wan, so he was forced to not do anything. Whereas now you got a similar situation where he's working in this. It's not a slave mine. It's like a job at least.
Yeah,
Where
but
here it's like
it's
he's not
yeah.
helping at all, and he can't. Whereas it would probably be beneficial to the people if he did step in. It's such a good parallel, and I couldn't help but think of that scene, like he's like, please stop to the person, and like the other slave that he was helping was like, just stop doing this. You're making it worse. Stay away from us.
Mm,
Go away. I don't know. I was really thinking of that, and I love how that's like a parallel to where now it's like he can't do that anymore. He can't help, even no matter how much he wants to. It's just gone, or it's just buried, and he's forced to keep it that way. Um, so yeah, everything with Obi-Wan is absolutely awesome.
fire. Yep.
Now, the next thing that is actually very awesome that none of us expected is Princess Leia Organa. They have
Ooh.
Princess Leia in here. First off, before you go into anything, the actress, shout out to the actress who's playing Leia. I don't know, she's like spot on with the mannerisms, how she speaks.
I wrote down her
Um,
name, Vivian Lyra Blair.
Shout
Yeah,
out to
because you're
Vivian.
exactly right. Fire.
Absolutely. I think she's doing pretty well so far. She's got like the tone of voice. I can picture this person growing up to be Leia easily.
Yes, yes.
And
You
like
said it right.
like just the way how smart she is and how she like figures people out almost instantly, kind of like how she figures out who Han Solo is right away.
Yep.
And like she gets under his skin and he's like bewildered by her, and I don't know, the way she did that with her cousin and the way she did about that with Obi-Wan. And like she's so much smarter than her age. Um, I don't know that, but yeah, first is like the actors, obviously. But yeah, I was not expecting that at all. Super happy to see Bale though and the Organa family, because like they're always a good sight in any kind of Star Wars anything. Whenever they pop up in Rebels. We're like, yeah,
They
Bale,
pop up. Yeah, they
Yeah.
pop up. Yeah.
Um, I don't know. She's just like, it's a really good casting, of course, obviously, and it's just, I don't know. It's a good because we don't ever see any of their interaction. It's always Bale and his wife and Leia, and then it's Obi-Wan and Luke. We never see that cross very much, and this is like I don't know. Like we talk about, everybody always brings up how um, when you think of Clone Wars, you have that one little line that Ben says in A New Hope. He's like, "I fought with your father in the Clone Wars. He was the best star pilot in the galaxy. Whatever, blah blah blah." You have that, which doesn't mean much by itself, but with the context of the Clone Wars, that moment becomes so much more powerful and so much
Yeah.
more like important. I feel like this is the same thing here. When we see Leia's message to Obi-Wan, "Help me,
Yep.
Obi-Wan Kenobi, you're my only hope." That's not her just talking to like a stranger guy. That's her like asking her friend. Hopefully, if they stay friends throughout this, we don't know how it's gonna end. But
I'm sure.
I'm yeah.
I'm sure. They
But
will.
when we see that scene now, there's some this whole the context of this entire show is added into that, and it just makes it so much better. So I really like what they've done with her so far. If you want to hit on anything more with her,
I think you said it perfectly. You said I could see this person growing up into Princess Leia, which is exactly right. The actress is phenomenal. As a child, I don't know how she's super talented. At me at that age, I couldn't even do well at spelling bees.
nope.
Like it was not even close. And then the writing too, phenomenal. And then just I guess it's kind of the writing, but just the scenes they're putting her in, like the way they're portraying her and the ways they're utilizing her. Like you said, showing her with Bail Organa. Like they could have just shown her getting dressed or whatever, and then she gets kidnapped. But no, she's there. She doesn't want to be a part of the ceremony or whatever. She's climbing trees and stuff. Like they're fleshing it out in a way that's like, yeah, that's Leia. Like,
Yeah,
of course. And the whole original trilogy cast on the Millennium Falcon, like elite tier characters always. Like anything we get of them is amazing. Obi-Wan included, Ben Kenobi.
yeah, he
But yeah,
counts.
I was not expecting Leia at all.
Me neither.
I knew Luke was in it. He was in the trailers. I know Leia's around, but to me, it's always just like, yeah, she's on Alderaan, whatever. She's growing up to be a princess and a senator.
Right.
Cool. But like, this is so much awesome Star Wars I didn't know I needed, and
Yeah.
it's almost stealing the show. Like, if Obi-Wan wasn't so good, this would easily be the best part. But they're both very good, and it's excellent.
I wanted to bring something up about that, but real
Go
quick,
ahead.
before that, one of my favorite scenes was when after like she like bosses that cousin, that stupid
Yeah,
idiot kid. I
shuts him
hate that
down.
kid. She shuts him down. She does. But afterwards, we see that what he said did have a little effect on her, because after she's being reprimanded, she says to Bale, she says, "I'm not even a real Organa," and he's like,
Yeah.
"What?" And he gets down on one knee and he's like talking to her. That scene literally gave me chills. Like it literally gave
Yeah,
me. I don't know what
the
about
father
that, but
daughter thing. Yeah.
I don't know. I just something about that moment was awesome. I also love the part where it was like, I don't even want to be a senator, and he goes, "That's probably why you'll be one of the best." Because
Mhm.
she doesn't want, like, because you think senator in Star Wars, other than a few exceptions, it's like greedy. That's real life too. But what we're just thinking is like senators, like you got this
We'll stay in
sleazy,
Star Wars for
yeah,
now.
like the banking clan and all that kind of
Yeah, well,
stuff.
we saw in the episode, I think his brother-in-law or whatever, the cousin's
I'm
father
not here to
was the
end
same way.
slavery, Bale. I'm here to eat your food. That dude.
Like, what a butthead.
What
Like,
a
yeah.
stinker.
But
Um,
no, I was the same way when he that kneeling down scene was, oh, it
that was
was
top tier.
phenomenal. Like, again, like that's the kind of scene, seeing that father-daughter reaction. I was like, that's the type of person that would grow up to save the universe, like, or the galaxy.
Be a
Like,
leader.
that's what Leia's childhood would look like, and
Yeah.
they're nailing it.
We see
So,
her like leading a bunch. She goes out on her own and does her own thing because she, wants to
yep.
be like her own person. We see her like halfway through the rescue that Obi-Wan is rescuing her. She like starts leading the way. She's like, "Come on, let's go. We gotta go this way. Come on."
Yeah.
I thought that was really cool and it totally fit because like you think back when they rescue Leia on the Death Star, she immediately takes over, and she's
Yeah.
almost like making fun of them for like, I don't know, not being as good as she thought
So
or
much for a
whatever.
rescue plan or
Yeah,
whatever.
exactly. And aren't you a little short for a stormtrooper?
Yeah.
And then she just takes over immediately. She's like, somebody has to save our skins, and they go down the trash chute, and it's signs of that. So that was really awesome. Um, I do have one thing though, and I didn't talk about this earlier because it's not necessarily a con. Um,
Ooh.
it's
I,
but I am very worried that they're going to fall into the Book of Boba Fett trap. Okay. Now I just the Leia stuff is good. I
okay.
like the Leia stuff. It is
I
very
want to
good.
get
I'm
into it.
glad it's here, but I hope that the rest of the show kind of tones it down with that. I don't necessarily want a 50-50 split between Obi-Wan and Leia in the Obi-Wan show. I feel like that's a lot of stuff we're missing out on, and I'll talk about something else relating to this in a second. But I hope they kind of maybe tone it down a little bit. I kind of wish they did what we already had with her and kind of spread it out more over the episodes, so it was less per episode but the same amount overall. Because Obi-Wan should be the central focus of the story. Because now we have Obi-Wan, we have Leia, and then we have the Grand Inquisitor / Reva and Vader. I'm it's 2 episodes in. I'm not saying this is going to happen. It's not a con because we were talked about it earlier. But I'm worried that it gets a little cramped if they keep this up. Um, think of Book of Boba Fett. This is the same scenario with one big difference. You have the Mandalorian episodes. I'm in this scenario. The Leia stuff would be like the Mando episodes. They're really good. The Leia stuff is really good. The Mando episodes were really good. But in Book of Boba Fett, people were upset because that was taking away from the title character. And you kind of have the same thing here, where Leia moments are taking away from Obi-Wan. But why is there praise for one and dislike for another? That's because in this show, the main character's stuff is actually good. I guarantee if in Book of Boba Fett, if Boba had a good arc and had a good character growth and good character development, nobody would have said anything about those two Mando episodes. Maybe a couple comments, but not necessarily as bad as it is. If Boba actually had a good arc and a good story, I'm pretty sure that we wouldn't have had the backlash for the sticking Mando in there. There would be memes about it and people would still talk about it, but I don't think it would be as big of a negative. Whereas here, the Obi-Wan stuff is actually good. So it's not that big of a deal because, both everything you're getting is good. It's like if Obi-Wan, if they did terrible with his character and they didn't go into like his mental state and what is all the stuff we praised earlier, if they did none of that, and then we got all this awesome Leia stuff, people would be criticizing a lot more, rightfully so, because that should not be the focus. That shouldn't be the best thing about the show, because it's Obi-Wan Kenobi. Like we always said before, it's called Book of Boba Fett, and he was lacking. But thankfully here in this case, Obi-Wan is not lacking. He is actually doing well. So this isn't a con. It's more of like a warning and a hope. Like I hope they don't fall into the trap of giving us too much Leia and not enough Obi-Wan, because we already have to deal with the Inquisitor stuff and the Vader stuff, which will be awesome probably. Inquisitor stuff, I don't know. But the primary focus, majority of the episode runtime should be dedicated to Obi-Wan. And like they tied it together with Leia in this one. They were working together. And that's cool, but I also hope we get more of just Obi-Wan, just him, or Obi-Wan and Vader. Because like turning it into this like Obi-Wan and Leia on an adventure, kind of like it's cool, it's fun, it's great, but I don't want too much of that. There's only 6 episodes. We've said it a bunch already, but we're already a third of the way through the show. After next episode, we'll be halfway through, and I don't want them to give us not enough Obi-Wan. If do you understand what I mean? Like it's good,
Yeah.
but it's kind of similar to the Book of Boba Fett, where you have one thing that potentially takes over. Like I said, we don't know yet because the show's not out, but we do know in Boba Fett, Mando came in the last third and just steamrolled Boba Fett and just took the spotlight from him completely. Obviously, Leia's not taking the spotlight here because they're both kind of sharing it. You can lean it one way or the other because Obi-Wan is actually, fortunately, good so far. But I'm hoping that they don't, start sidelining him too much for a lot of other stuff, if you know what I mean.
Yeah.
I don't know, am I crazy? I don't know.
I think it's definitely a concern. I'm confident they won't.
Right.
I don't think they will screw that up.
That's why I didn't have it in the cons, because it didn't happen
Yeah.
yet.
Yeah. No, I think I'm actually cool if Leia's in every single episode to the end. Wouldn't mind that at all. Because now she's with Obi-Wan, and I think she'll be at least tagging along for a few more. She could be gone next episode. She couldn't. I don't mind because I know Obi-Wan has more to do. He's gonna be fleshed out, and if Leia's along for the ride, it might make a lot of sense for his story. It might help him out to see the future generation, and that be a large inspiration for him getting out of this terrible state he's in. But I think now it's going to shift from the Obi-Wan Leia kind of split, and now they're already merged. So now it's Obi-Wan and Leia, and now that they're bringing Darth Vader into it, and we'll get into that later. I think he's going to have a lot more of the spotlight too, because again, they brought Hayden Christensen back, right? He's going to be
brought back for a reason.
We saw that just his eyes, and we were already geeking out. But I think he's going to have a lot more time, and I'm super hyped for it. Honestly, I wouldn't be remiss if Vader next episode was just Vader episode. I think they could still manage to finish off Obi-Wan's
They could probably get away with that.
thing,
I think so.
just because of how intertwined the story is with Obi-Wan's, and how much Anakin and Obi-Wan are. Their whole story is just mixed together. So I wouldn't even be remiss at that.
Right.
And I think the Inquisitors will slowly bleed into Darth Vader. So I think it'll be the light side, dark side kind of split now.
I hope so.
From scenes.
That would be very cool.
Which would be good because honestly, I would enjoy more Leia stuff. I wouldn't enjoy more just her getting dressed on Alderaan, kind of like you were saying. But if she's there helping Obi-Wan, keeping him in some sort of perspective, being kind of a moral compass for him, like knocking him out of this funk, I think it would work expertly. And part of me saying that is just because of how well the actress is doing, how well Leia is being written. So I'd love to see more, and I don't think they're gonna pull a Boba on it. I hope not. a large part of it is because Obi-Wan in Episode 1 has more development than Boba ever did
in his entire show.
in his entire show. But yeah, I also don't think that Leia, or even like if they bring Baby Yoda or someone in, like I don't think they're gonna do a thing where they with Mando where like a whole different thing all on its own.
Right.
Like,
That's what I mean. Just
literally
like
what Boba was. Yeah.
right. I just don't want
So I
them giving
think
Leia like her own arc.
yeah,
You
like if
know.
her and the droid go on Alderaan again, now she's
Yeah,
like,
and they go
oh,
yell
now I
at
have
more
to
cousins and stuff. Like that, we
yeah,
kind of get it, and sure would probably be
yeah,
cool, but I don't want that. Just like the Mando stuff. The
yeah.
Mando stuff was awesome, but I don't want it in this show. Put it in another spot. You know,
Mhm.
like whereas Mando helping Boba is one thing, like in the finale, which was kind of cool. Him doing his own complete separate adventure was just kind of that was like the overboard for me. So I hope they don't do that. I think I'll be
Yeah.
okay with Leia sticking around a little bit. I still feel like we need moments with Obi-Wan where he's either alone or with Anakin in some way, or Qui-Gon or something. Because like if you're having an emotional talk with Qui-Gon, he finally reveals himself and he's like, oh, Master, please, what? And then you have Leia in the corner like, who's that? What's going on? You know, something like that. I feel like he still needs his own personal time alone, but you know, as long as they're not like making this like, oh, this person gets an arc and this person gets their own episode, you know, which I don't think that they'll. I don't think they'll do that. It
No,
already
yeah,
feels very different from Book of Boba, I think, and
yeah,
it feels better already, I think. Um,
yeah.
yeah. Um, But yeah, that's all the big things I had. Next, I figured to wrap up, we could get into little details that we thought were really cool, little moments that we wanted to point out. Shout out, first of all, shout out to the clone representation in these two episodes.
You.
We have Order 66, and we have 501st clones, and I believe practical clone armor, which is cool because in Revenge of the Sith, all the clones were CGI, so there was
Yep.
no. There was no real. I think the only thing that they did make was one helmet for Cody, for this when he's like, which is why his
Mhm.
helmet is bigger than the CGI helmets because it actually needed to fit on a head. I think that's like the only thing they made for the armor. So this is cool seeing real. I'm talking too much about Obi-Wan. Um, like we this is like the fourth video we're making today, so
Yeah.
um,
Pretty late.
yeah, but like the practical armor is really cool if it is practical. I think it is. Like you could see like the flaps moving around and stuff.
Even if it's not, it looked
Exactly.
outstanding. Yeah.
Exactly.
So
And then on top of that, we had the poor starving clone on
yeah,
just who was asking for spare any credits. That was awesome because Tamora in the clone suit is awesome.
love that man.
Yeah. And it makes sense because like the clones were the ones that weren't adopted into the Empire were just like abandoned, left for dead to do whatever.
Yep.
And it makes sense that a lot of them would probably end up poor on the streets begging for food. He's
Uh,
still got his armor on; it's all dirty, and he's just got his helmet, and like his hair is it's really sad, but it's also really cool. Um, I don't know. What do you think about that?
Order 66. I want to start there.
Yeah,
I love seeing innocent Jedi get slaughtered. So dope. No, I'm kidding. But it is cool to see another. This is like another aspect of it. We got the Siege of Mandalore view on it. We got the Bad Batch view on it. We
yeah,
got
we're
the
getting
Baby
so
Yoda
many.
view on it. We got the Obi-Wan view on it. Like, I'm for it. Like,
I think we
it's
just had
such a
one in Revenge of the Sith, and it's
pivotal.
branched
Yeah,
out to so many. Jedi Fallen Order had some.
Jedi Fallen Order, and it's so pivotal. Like, I like seeing more of it. And the clones looked excellent. The 501st Trooper on Daiyu was really cool, and I want to get more into Daiyu because
Yeah,
that
yeah.
was super dope, and
Hmm.
I think he added to that atmosphere of that.
Yeah.
We said it in the reaction, almost like Coruscant underground
A
or
little bit,
sub
but it's
levels.
like
I
on the
forget.
surface still.
But yeah, but different, a whole new planet, and I think it did have little bits of uniqueness where you can distinguish some of the architecture and stuff,
Like the
and
neon
just some of
signs
the
too, I think.
yeah, and I think the markets. I feel like you don't see that a lot in Coruscant. I think that was dope. The 501st Trooper, especially like it's like a dense, crowded city where you have beggars on the street, and you have people selling you spice on the street coming up to you. Like there's a lot of this in Star Wars. There's a lot of gritty underground type back backroom deals going
Right.
on in Star Wars. It's cool to see that. This is some of my favorite things. And he added that for sure. There's a lot of alien species, new ones that we mentioned. We were calling them ladders, but the
Ladders.
the one alien,
I'm
yeah,
still gonna call them ladders.
yeah, unofficial name. The big dinosaur bounty hunter guy with the huge rifle,
Right, right.
very cool. And then the last notable one I saw that I also mentioned on the video, he had like the fishbowl thing. It looks like a head floating or like in it. I don't know, but it's super cool to see new, maybe not new, but like alien
Just
species
more,
that you're
just
like,
more of them.
yeah, like yeah, and that just fits so well to like a Star Wars environment. And I
Right.
think the 501st Trooper added that too. Like Daiyu felt like home. Like, yeah, this is Star Wars. This is perfect planet. Like I know where this is. It's
Yeah.
a Star Wars planet, you know? It was awesome to see. Daiyu was my last kind of, not as big as the other positives, but it was a very big pro.
Yeah.
It was really cool, the set
Yeah.
design and everything, especially because we're off of Tatooine.
Thankfully.
Which is, I
They're
didn't know
kind of,
how they're
unfortunately,
gonna get
they're
off
like stuck
Tatooine,
though
but
because he's on
yeah, they're gonna
Tatooine.
have to go
So
back. I
yeah,
know. So it was nice. We got a break from it.
yeah. Maybe
It
we'll get a
looked very
couple other
cool.
places too. Hopefully.
And then within Daiyu, hold on.
Yeah,
Last
yeah.
thing
Keep
is
going.
the whole space Walter White thing. I thought for no reason there were so many parallels to Breaking Bad,
For no
which is a
reason.
fantastic show. We were making probably way too many jokes about it, but
Yo,
it
man.
was, yeah. But it was cool, like on a serious note, to see Obi-Wan being resourceful with
Yeah.
using the actual
Right.
things. Um, and taking that account, I don't know how much foresight he had to say, "Oh, maybe I could use this later." Because the last time we saw someone offer him drugs, he's like, "You don't want to sell me these death sticks. You want to go home
Well,
and
he
rethink
can't
your
do
life."
that now, obviously.
He can't do that, but he plays along. He tries to fit in with the crowd, and he ends up using it as that
Right.
bomb thing, which is really cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, but Daiyu, there's a lot more
Daiyu,
if you want to get
very.
into it. Yeah,
Um, yeah, I had a little bit about Daiyu. Also, the fact that we see Tamora in a live action clone suit keeps the hopes alive of a live action Rex and or Cody.
Rex,
So
Cody,
just putting that
anyone,
out
yeah.
there. If you guys would want to maybe get on that a little bit.
I
But
think Rex
yeah,
is coming. I think Rex is coming.
I hope so,
Ahsoka?
man.
Yeah, I think Rex.
Well, yeah, come on. But also about Daiyu, I like how it is different though because, like Coruscant, you got big holograms and it's vast and it's tall and it's but on Daiyu, like the buildings are a little shorter and it's like neon
Yeah,
like tube light signs. It's not
it
holograms.
is. It is unique. I noticed that on rewatch. It's its own little flavor,
Yeah, it's more
which
slummy
is
kind of.
yeah, and it's cool that kind of like I was saying, like it's so much like the same that I could be like, oh yeah, it's Star Wars, but then rewatch like, oh, but it's new Star Wars,
Yeah,
which is.
yeah.
But continue. I didn't mean to interrupt.
That's fine. Like you also get the vibe of the entire place right away from the girl that he interacts with, who tries to sell him spice. When she's like, a couple more of these and you'll forget you even had a daughter. I used to be somebody's daughter too.
Yeah, she
That
looks
kind of hit me. That
young
was kind
too.
of sad for a second, and then I'm like, so that's the vibe. That's this place. That's how this place rolls. And you got spice
Mm.
labs all over the place. You got like bounty hunters literally everywhere. You got delays at the freaking space airport. Come on.
You mentioned that in the
Yeah.
video.
But yeah, that was I don't know. This that interaction did a really good job at setting the tone for the entire place because also like it brings up the spice, brings up that the people are just a lot of people are like giving up and they're kind of low lives. They do run
Yeah.
drugs around here. There's bounty hunters, so the way they set that
Um,
up, I thought was pretty cool. But yeah, Daiyu is a very 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 fine addition to the Star Wars planet gallery, I guess. Did we find out if it's the planet or if it's just the city? Or is
I
it
was gonna
like
say
Coruscant, where the whole thing
I don't
is it's like Daiyu?
that. Yeah, so I'm not sure.
Yeah, I
I
don't
didn't.
know.
Yeah.
Um, I guess I got like two more things here. First off, the reveal with Anakin. That really gave me vibes from Star Wars Theory's Vader fan film. So shout out to that. If you haven't seen it, go watch it. But he does kind of a
Yes.
similar show. I'm wondering because you know that they watched it. They definitely had to watch it to make sure he didn't do anything that like breached their contract or whatever.
It's true.
That allowed him to make that.
It's
So they
true.
definitely saw the
They
shot where it's
know.
like Vader and he's all make-upped up and he opens his eyes in the back to tank. Not saying they copied because it's their thing. It's Star Wars. They own it.
It
But
was an homage, yeah,
yeah,
and a
if it was
respectful nod.
yeah, it was reminiscent of that. So I thought that was pretty cool. So shout out Star Wars Theory because he's awesome.
Always, yeah.
And the last thing that I had, another one of my favorite scenes, was when Obi-Wan is having those nightmares and he wakes up in the middle of the night and he asks for Qui-Gon.
Yeah.
I thought that was an awesome scene. Seeing the you were joking in the scene, the flashbacks about how he wasn't there for some of those, and like the perspective doesn't make any sense, but you know it's just a joke.
No, it is cool, yeah.
It's cool. That was like just seeing him that he's still struggling with this as he sleeps, and then to wake up and ask for his master, who has been long dead.
And
We know that Qui-Gon has learned like from Yoda, like to have or was it the other way around? Yoda learned from Qui-Gon, right? How to go like beyond. No, Yoda learned from in season
yeah.
6 of Clone Wars, the one that went right to Netflix. He learned from like whatever those Force beings were. But the point is that Qui-Gon at this point has learned, I
He knows.
believe. Yeah, he already has learned because he's talked to Obi-Wan before. He talked to him in Mortis. Um,
Yep.
so I feel like that's what Obi-Wan might have been thinking about. Might have been thinking about Mortis and how he talked to him before. So I don't know. I just love that scene. Another part of it that I loved, uh, obviously seeing Force Ghost of Qui-Gon in that scene would have been really cool, and having Qui-Gon back, and if it's Liam Neeson, which I'm thinking we might get at some
I'm
point.
thinking. I'm thinking
Even
he's
if we
coming.
did get that in that scene, that would have been cool. That really would have been cool, and I would have liked it. But I think I'm a little more happy that we get nothing. He doesn't appear.
Mm,
It just shows how like desperate Obi-Wan is and how
yeah.
alone he
Yeah.
is. He's asking for his master, but he gets nothing. He's not Qui-Gon's not there. I think I like that more than if he would have
Yeah.
appeared.
And I want to go into that even further, dude.
Go for it.
Because that's his master. Obi-Wan was a Jedi since when he was real little. He was taken away from his parents, like all Jedi's was, or Jedi were.
Yeah.
Sorry
Jedi's
for that
was.
grammar. Jeez, slate. But Qui-Gon's like his father figure. Like that's pretty much him waking
Exactly.
up in the middle of the night and going like, "Dad," like crying for help. And Obi-Wan's an old man. Leia was saying, kind of jokingly, "You're old enough to be my
My
granddad."
grandfather, Mickey. What?
But no, he's in such like having such terrible nightmares. I'm guessing it's every night. We only saw the one, but I feel like this is
I think most
tormenting
nights
him
probably, yeah.
most nights. But to the point where he's waking up almost in a panic and crying out for his father. Like that's how real this is. It's how painful it is to lose so much and so big like that. And you're right. Like I think it's a cool choice to say, no, it's just him. He has to figure this out on his own for
Yeah.
now. I think Qui-Gon will show up. I think he's
I think so
coming.
too.
Where maybe when Obi-Wan's at a more peaceful state. Not saying he's fully better, but he has a better grasp on how the world is now.
Right.
I think then maybe like towards the end of it,
That
to
would be
try and
cool.
help him with teaching Luke and stuff and how to go about that. Maybe I don't know, but I definitely because Liam Neeson he's shown out for Clone Wars. He's voiced in
Yeah.
Episode 9. He called out to Rey. He was one of those voices. So
He's doing that new
he's a Star
animated
Wars
show.
fan.
He's doing that
The-
new one. He's
yeah,
gonna
yeah,
be in
yeah.
that.
He's more of that in the podcast.
Check that out. Coming out
Plug.
soon.
But yeah, he's one of those actors who are also fans. So I wouldn't if they
He'd be
wanted to
down.
have him,
He
he'd
would be there.
definitely be down.
Yeah.
Yeah, which I love. I love
Yeah.
when actors are like that.
That's awesome. So overall, very good start, I think, to the show. There's a couple things that could be tweaked, a couple things that I could potentially be worried about, but we'll see once the show continues. Only 6 episodes, and they gave us 2 at once, so that's like a huge. That's already a third. Say it again. It's a third of the show is done.
Oh,
By the time you're seeing this video, there's only going to be like one full day until the next episode, maybe.
yeah, we're halfway.
So, and then we're halfway, just like that. and
Hmm.
that's absolutely ridiculous. Like I don't understand how time works. It's just crazy. Um, but yeah, anything else here before we wrap up? What are your thoughts overall, generally, about these 2 episodes?
Yeah, I've been because there are some down notes. There's a lot of up notes, but I keep just taking a step back and just reflect on how cool it is to have
Yeah,
this. Like, I remember back in like 2014 when the sequels were just coming out and stuff, and this was like a rumor of a rumor of a whisper. Like, it's finally here. We're almost halfway through. Like, it's awesome. It's there's already awesome moments that like I'm like, all right, this is cool.
yeah,
I think there's plenty more to come. If they don't clean up some of the down parts, like I probably won't be as happy as I know I could be, but I have a lot of hope. I
yeah,
have a lot of
definitely,
hope for the rest of this, and I can't wait. I mean, Wednesday, so we only have to wait
yeah,
that long. But
exactly,
even so, I can't wait. So,
exactly.
yeah,
Plus, we
I
got
do
the
like
Best
to
of Vader
step
is
back.
coming too, so we still have all of
Ex-
that to look forward to.
it's gonna be excellent.
It's gonna
I
be
can't wait.
excellent. All right, so yeah, so that's gonna do it. Thank you guys for listening this far. If you did, make sure to check out the reaction videos to episodes 1 and 2, and all the other ones. If you're watching this in the future, probably have all those up on the channel for you already. So yeah, let us know your thoughts on these episodes. If you agree with us, disagree with us, whatever you're thinking, let us know. Thank you guys for watching, and we'll talk to you in the next one. Bye. I saw a moth flying around one time. Your
I
room.
was gonna say, because I saw it too, and I didn't want to go. Oh, you can't see, but I didn't want to swipe at it. Like I
Yeah, I
was
saw
very
him.